today we're going to be talking about multiplying decimals. Our first vocabulary word is product, which should sound familiar to you. We keep going over and over in these. Hopefully you can get them down because we're going over them a lot. Remember that the product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Okay, so let's jump right into this. The first step is to multiply like normal. You ignore the decimals. Remember, this is just for multiplication of decimals. When you add decimals, you need to line them up. When you subtract decimals, you need to line them up. However, when you multiply, you ignore them at first, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this example right here, and we're going to ignore the decimals. I'm just writing the 12 and 35 hundredths as 1, 2, 3, 5, just the numbers. And this 5 and 2 tenths, I just do how many digits I have, okay? I am going to go ahead and add the decimals because we will need to do something with them later. But for now, I'm just going to ignore them and multiply like normal. So here we go. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. I write a 0 to hold my place. Now I move on to the second digit. 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to turn that 1 into a 2 so I can carry it. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. And then I have 5 times 1, which equals 5, plus 1 is 6. Now I add, just like normal. Hopefully you remember this from previous years. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 plus 1 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. And 6 plus nothing is 6. Okay, so I multiply like normal. Check. The second step is to count and circle all the digits behind the original number's decimal points. So here's my original number up here. I'm going to see which ones are behind the decimal point. So here's my decimal point. This 3 is behind it, and this 5 is behind it. Here's my decimal point for my second number, and I only have this 1 that is behind the decimal. Okay, so I've got that. Check. There are 3 numbers that are behind the decimal point. So my third step is to count and circle the same number of digits to place your decimal point in your product or answer. So those 3 numbers that I circled up here, I am also going to circle the 3 numbers in my product, and that is where my decimal point goes. I should have 3 numbers behind the decimal point, just like I had those 3 up there in the 2 numbers I multiplied. Okay, I'm going to add a fourth step. I would like you to rewrite your answer and box it. Okay, this will just help keep your work neat. Okay, so my answer is 64 and 22 hundredths. Notice that I dropped off that 0 because I could add zeros forever and it would not actually change this number. But if I would not have done that and held my place, then I wouldn't have known how many numbers over to go to put my decimal point. So that 0 is important until it goes in your answer, okay? But it determines where the decimal point goes, so you do need to have it until you're finished. All right, well, let's move on down to these 2 together problems, okay? First step, multiply like normal and ignore the decimals. So I'm going to rewrite this. And 56.8. Go ahead and add those in after because we'll need them later. Okay, multiply like normal. All right, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 5 is 29. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 2 is 58. Okay, 1 0 to hold the place. And we're going to move on to the second digit. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. I'll change that to a 4. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. Keep that 2 up there. And 6 times 7 is 42. 42 plus 2 is 44. Okay, now, hopefully you remember this, you need to add 2 placeholders because we're moving over to the third digit. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18. And then 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36. That is some good adding. I'm going to have to go into this number 2 space. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 6 is 12. 9, 10, 11, 12, plus 5 is 17. I have a 10 here. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 6 is 16. I have another 10 right here. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 8 is 18. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and then 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so that was step 1, multiply like normal. I ignored the decimals. Now I'm going to count and circle the how many are behind the decimal point in what I just multiplied. So there's 3 in the first one, and there's only this 1 in the second number. Now I'm going to circle the same number in my product. So 1, 2, 3, 4, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. And that's where my decimal point goes, is right there. Now last step is to rewrite it and box it. So I have 418 and 6,728 thousandths. All right, that was fun. Okay, now we're going to do the second together problem. I'm going to rewrite that so I can see it. 2.7 times 1.3. Remember, ignore the decimals. We're just going to multiply like normal. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Hold my place. 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 1 is 2. Add those together. 1 plus 0 is 1. 8 plus 7, 15. And 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, remember the second step is to count and circle all the digits that are behind the decimal point. I have 1 right there and 1 in the second number. So I just have 2. So I'm going to circle those 2 in my product, and my decimal point goes right there. And the last step is to rewrite my answer and box it. Alright, so that is how you multiply decimals. Make sure you ignore the decimal place at first. If you don't and you try and line them up, it will mess you up. So go ahead and do those 2 pause and tries together. We'll check it tomorrow in class.